So we've discussed the forms of equations. We've talked about the point slope is the new one. We've talked about slope-intercept, where the m is the sloped, the b is the y-intercept, and so y equals mx plus b is the slope-intercept form, where m is slope and b is the y-intercept. We've talked about standard form, and standard form is ax plus by is equal to c, where a, b, and c are numbers. And not only are they numbers, but they have specific criterion that they have to read. A has to be a positive integer, and b has to be an actual integer. In other words, complete numbers, no fractions. C is any whole number. Today we're talking about point slope formula. So it's on the same line, literally, no pun intended, on the same line as all of these different forms is the additional point slope formula, or point slope form. Point slope form is in the format y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, where m is still considered the slope, x1 and y1 is the point that is given to you, because it's 1 point. So again, point, slope. When you see the word point, you should immediately think of the idea of a point, x comma y, x1, y1, and slope is m. So when you're given point and slope, you can use the point slope form to figure out the equation of the line. For example, write an equation in point slope form for the line with the given slope that contains the given point. So using that point slope form, we know the formula is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, where y1 is 0, so we can physically replace this with 0. The slope is 4/5, so we can replace that with 4/5. And x1, because this is x comma y, x1 is -3. So notice when you subtract x1, it's minus -3, which will immediately then become plus. And so the way to figure this out after is y minus 0 is just y is equal to 4/5 times x plus 3. You could write y minus 0. This purple that you see here is currently written in point slope form. So you would just leave it like that. You don't do anything further. Let's look at the next one. They want us to write an equation in point slope form. So if I know that point slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m multiplied to x minus x1, then all you're going to do is replace the slope is m, x1 is 4, y1 is 2. So it's y minus y1, which is 2, is equal to m, which is -7, times x minus x1 is 4. That's it. Nothing else to do. Just leave it in that form. Graph the line described by each equation. Looking at this, hopefully your brain will trigger and go, oh, that's slope form. Point slope, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. y1 is 1. So if I have a point, y1 is 1. The m is 3. And x1 is 1. So my point is 1 comma 1, which is right here. The slope is 3. Remember, slope is rise over run. So if it's 3, it means you go up 3 to the right 1. Up 2, 3 to the right 1. Connect your dots. And you have your line. Next one. Again, this is point slope. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Be very careful with pluses because really this positive is telling you it was y minus negative 2. So therefore y1 is negative 2. So if I have my point, y1 is negative 2. x1 is 3, and the slope is negative 1/2. So when I go to plot my point, I am going to plot 3 comma negative 2, which is over to 3 down to negative 2, and my slope is negative 1/2. Remember that slope is rise over run. So if it's negative, you're falling. And then you always run to the right. So you're going to go down 1, to the right 2, because it's negative 1/2. That means you go down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2, 1, 2. Connect your dots. There's your line. Okay, let's look at the next group stuff. Okay, the next questions. These are all writing linear equations using point slope. It says, write a linear equation in standard form. So in our brain, we're immediately thinking ax plus by is equal to c with slope of negative 6. So I know that my slope is negative 6. And then here's a point that they're giving me. Negative 2 comma 4. They're giving me a point and slope. Therefore, if you're given point and slope, you're going to use the point slope form. Use the tools that they give you. They're giving you point and they're giving you slope. Use point slope. So first of all, you're going to write it in point slope. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And once you get that done, then you will move it around so that it's in standard form. So my y1 is 4, so it's y minus y1 is equal to m is negative 6 times x minus x1 is negative 2. So be careful with that. Minus negative 2. This becomes plus, and then what you're going to do from that is you are going to go ahead and distribute and rewrite using the concept of solving literal equations. Remember how we did that. You're transforming it so that it's in standard form. So you're going to first distribute that negative 6 to everything. And now you see all the tools that you guys learned at the beginning of the year, the reason you needed it. Negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times positive 2 is negative 12. You want it in standard form, so I'm going to add 6x to both sides because you want a to be positive. That's going to give you 6x. Remember, the y is currently positive, so plus y minus 4 is equal to negative 12. Then you're going to add 4 to both sides because you want it in standard form, remember? And you get 6x plus y is equal to negative 8. That is the equation in standard form, given a point and slope. All right, now, here we go. Slope intercept. They want it in slope intercept. So they want it in y equals mx plus b, because remember, slope is m, intercept is b. So that's how you can remember slope intercept is y equals mx plus b. They give me a slope of negative 3, and they give me a point. So you're going to use point slope. y minus y1, which is negative 1, is equal to the slope of m times x minus negative 3. So this becomes x plus 3. This becomes y plus 1. You're going to distribute so that you can put it in slope-intercept. Negative 3x, negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Y plus 1 is equal to negative 3x minus 9. In order for it to be in y equals mx plus b, the 1 has to go to the right. Y equals mx plus b. And there's your equation in slope-intercept form when you were given a point and a slope so that you could actually use point slope first. Okay, this one. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. So once more, I know it's slope-intercept, slope and intercept. And now they're giving me 2 points. So you have 2 points. When you're given 2 points, you know you can get the slope. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 2 minus negative 4 is 2 plus 4, so we get 2 plus 4, which is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3, so you know that your slope is 3. Now that you have the slope, you pick a point. It doesn't matter which of these 2 points you want to use. Since this is the first point, x1, y1. Now you have a point and slope. Put it in point slope. Y minus y1 is equal to m of 3 times x minus x1, which is 1. Minusing a minus becomes a plus. Y plus 4 is equal. Distribute the 3, you get 3x minus 3. Now, we want it in slope-intercept form, so that means we need to move the 4 over again. Minus 4, minus 4. Y is equal to 3x minus 7. And that's the equation in slope-intercept form. Write a linear equation in slope-intercept form with x-intercept of negative 2 and y-intercept of 4. When you see those words, x-intercepts and y-intercepts, you should remember that x-intercept is the value of x when y is 0. So your point is negative 2, 0. Your y-intercept is 4. That's also known as the b, but the point is also the value of y when x is 0. So there's your point. So now you've got 2 points that you can calculate the slope. Your slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is negative 2. That becomes 0 plus 2, which is 2 in the denominator. 4 minus 0 is 4. The slope is 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So now that we've got the slope of 2, and the question gave me the y-intercept of 4, and remember, the b is 4. Now you have the m and the b. M is 2, b is 4. Y equals mx plus b. So if they give you the y-intercept, there's not that much work needed to be done to find what b is equal to. You know y-intercept is b, so that means b is 4. You have an x-intercept. That means that that's the value of x when y is 0. The y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. With those 2 points, you can calculate the m, the slope, and now you have the m and the b, put it in slope-intercept form. Okay, so the next question says that you're given 2 points, 4, 8, and, that's supposed to be an and, negative 1, negative 12. They're on the same line, and you want to find the intercepts. So this one is going to require that you really make sure that you understand what you're doing. The first thing you need to do is understand that with those 2 points, the one thing you can do is find the slope of the line. Because when you have 2 points, you can create that formula and find the slope of the line. So let's go ahead and start with that. The slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is going to lead you to negative 20 over negative 5, which actually gives you positive 4. So you know the slope is 4. Now what you're going to do is use the point slope formula, because you've got points and you have slope. So pick a point. Let's choose 4, 8, simply because that is my first point, x1, y1. And plug it into the point slope formula. The point slope formula is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. We have y1 is 8, so y minus 8 is equal to m of 4 times x minus x1, which is 4. They want to know what the intercepts are. Remember, the intercepts are the x-intercepts when y is equal to 0, the y-intercept when x is equal to 0. So you've got to actually take this, and you can either transform it into y equals mx plus b, or transform it into standard form, and then find the intercepts. I recommend standard form, and the reason that I recommend changing it to standard form is because if you plug in 0 for x, it's going to be easy to solve for y, and if you plug in 0 for y, it's going to be easy to solve for x. So to change this into standard form, you are actually going to distribute, and you get y minus 8 is equal to 4x minus 16. Now you want ax and by together, so I can add 16 to bring him here, and then I am going to subtract y to bring him to the right. That's going to give you negative 8 plus 16 is 8, equal to 4x minus y, and the 16 cancels out. Now that you have that standard form equation, you can find your intercepts. Let's find the x-intercept. The x-intercept is the value of x, or the x value, when y is 0. So I'm going to say 4x minus, put 0 in for y, equals 8. That cancels out. We get that x is 2. So the x-intercept is 2, 0. The y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. So I am going to substitute 0 in for x minus y equals 8. That is going to cancel that out. If negative y is equal to 8, then y is equal to negative 8. That means that my y-intercept is 0, negative 8. So now I have found the intercepts. They are 2, 0, and the y-intercept is 0, negative 8. So you are going to go ahead and complete the independent practice. Write an equation in point slope. You are given a point and the slope. So just as a quick reminder, that means that your point is your x1, y1, and you're going to plug it into point slope. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. They want it in point slope, so you're going to give it like that. You're not going to transform it. You just plug in x and y, and you've got it. Take a look at this one, however. We know that the slope is 0 of a flat line. So when you go ahead and plug that in, you're going to notice that it's going to cancel everything out, as you will see. Let's go ahead and do that one. We see 0.1 is 3 and -3, and 0.2, x1 is -3 and y1 is 2. This guy here is x1 and y1. So when I plug it into the equation, you're going to get y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. This becomes plus. That, as you see right there, 0 times anything is just 0. So you're going to get y minus 2 is equal to 0. That is your point slope formula. Also, remember, horizontal line, they want the equation in point slope. That's this again for a horizontal line. And at this point, you should remember, horizontal line has a slope of 0. The next guy, standard form. Make sure you recall standard form is ax plus by is equal to c, where a has to be a positive whole number and b must be an integer, so no fractions. So when you transform this, you're going to distribute, you're going to bring things over so that it's in this format. And same thing with the fraction over here with the slope. Distribute this one here, write it in slope-intercept form. Slope is m, intercept is the b, so therefore this is the equation y equals mx plus b. So that's just a way of remembering who's who. And here, what they're asking you to do is also write an equation in point slope, because this is a continuation. So they want the equation of y equals mx plus b. Remember, if you're given 2 points, step 1 is to get the slope by using the slope formula. Step 2 is to pick a point and put it in point slope formula. And then step 3 is to transform it into whatever form they want. In this case, they want this to be transformed into y equals mx plus b. So once you're done with these, make sure you are ready to go over them tomorrow, upload to Canvas, and then you also have MathSpace, which we'll be working on in class. So please complete these independent practices at home, and then MathSpace in class. Okay, so this should be completed at home. This here.